How to open the third eye and see auras. If you have listened to our last couple of podcasts, you will now have some appreciation of the relationship between the ego, imagination, heart, and the third eye. Connection with our hearts is required to open one's third eye and mitigate the illusions of the ego. Ask yourself, where is the center of my awareness? Is it in my head, my lower abdomen? If it's elsewhere than your heart, then here is where you need to begin. I have posted other information and podcasts on the subject, and it is my aim to put out a meditation specifically to connect with our hearts and work on the third eye at the same time. Stay tuned for the near future. I have divided this article into the following sections. My apologies for being curt and to the point, for the relevant information could fill a book. The information included here is condensed, and I encourage you to come back and reread it over a period of time. Table of contents. Please understand kinesthetic development and bioenergetic field, aura. Exercise for those who are hands-on alternative therapists. Going to sleep and practice letting go. Reverie. Explore the past with your imagination and train psychic perception. Part 1. Please understand that the third eye is our imagination, which in turn is the language of the subconscious. The subconscious is the gateway for instruction from our soul fragment. To be connected with our soul fragment, our heart must be open. For our hearts to be open, our emotions need to be at idling speed and our minds in a state of acceptance rather than protection. For our emotions to be at peace, we need to make space from the myriad of suppressed emotions we have been accumulating throughout our lives. To make space, we need to practice, experience emotional intensity. For all of the above to occur, we need to notice our mind's capacity to self-criticize and divert from our emotional experience. To be aware of how we self-criticize, we begin by focusing on how much we are critical of others. We criticize others because they threaten the integrity of our indoctrinated beliefs. To free ourselves, we need to develop the stamina for and be open to competing and conflicting thoughts. A human being can be classified as a machine, ego, as well as a soul being. The machine section of a human being is in 3 parts: the physical body, the emotional hormonal system, and the mental repository of mental programs that, like a computer, will trigger behavior with the aim of protecting the machine. The soul being part of a human being requires the heart to be open so that communication with the machine may occur. Communication from the soul being to the machine by the subconscious will come through the third eye or 6th chakra, fluid images that arise out of the subconscious, not to be confused with images that arise out of the mind, static memory. Communication may also arise in the 5th chakra in the throat as clairaudience, internal words, not to be confused with internalized talking that comes from the mind. Words arising in my head from my ego tend to be repetitive, descriptive of present actions, and often of a critical bent. They are like reading silently to myself. Words from clairaudience are like air bubbles arising out of the depths of the sea. They're usually very quiet, yet can be heard in the back of one's mind. The ego relies on memory, and the soul being communicates via imagination. Spontaneous imagination is like dreaming. It has the quality of watching a film unfold its story. Memory is like a set of photos, static. The subconscious is pliable. It is used by the soul fragment to communicate with the ego, and can also be used by the ego to command the subconscious. We can use images to instruct the subconscious to affect and relax involuntary muscles of the body where emotional tension has been stored, as well as to alter some of our pre-programmed scripts. Relaxing internal tensions is an important skill to acquire, and I have put out a meditation specifically for this. Many books have been written on how to see the aura to capitalize on the wave of Western interest. Even the so-called master Taoist teacher I trained with nearly 30 years back would run courses on it. The idea is that we can see the aura with our normal vision by somehow training our eyes to go slightly out of focus. It was ridiculous to me then, as it is now. The way to see an aura is via imagination, to which may be added kinesthetic sensing if you are a physical type, and or emotional reciprocity if you engage with the world via your emotions. If you expect a magic wand to open your third eye to the wonders beyond, it will not happen if you're full of your own hubris, rigidity, fear, and or anxiety. For our soul being requires at least a gap through the storm clouds that the sun's rays may shine through. Kinesthetic development and bioenergetic field, aura. Our bodies are electrical and they have a bioelectrical field surrounding us. Place your hands in front of you and focus on the center of each palm. Wave them slowly apart from each other to approximately 18 inches, then towards each other to around 6 to 8 inches. Repeat a few times. Sense the cushion of energy between your palms as you move them to and fro. Once you have the taste of that energy bubble, close your eyes and imagine your hands in front of you as you remember the kinesthetic sensation of your palms and the bioelectrical field as you wave them to and fro. Why not pause this recording and give yourself a few minutes to get the hang of this? Kinesthetic awareness is an indispensable skill of communication with the subconscious. Exercise. While sitting, focus on the energy field, sense it, imagine it around your body. Use your imaginary hands to sense the outline from every direction around your body. Ask, sense, imagine the question, does my energy field surround the whole of my body? Sense the outline. Ask yourself, how far does it extend away from my body? Allow your imagination to show you the answer as you bring your imaginary hands closer around your limbs, torso, etc., then further away from your body. Ask, sense, imagine the shape of the field. Does it surround you equally? Is it more to the left or the right? Are there any sections where it is missing or weaker? If there is a missing section, imagine sensing your etheric hands as though they were a plaster astral, spreading the bioenergetic plasma charge around your other's body to smooth over any gaps. If there is core trauma within you, it is likely for one or more chakras to be experienced as though there is a gap in the field. To rectify, if it is the second chakra, you will need to connect emotionally and allow the emotion to flow through your body. This can take some time as you build up your emotional resilience to experience the discomfort generated. In the very early days of my healing career, as I practiced what I am sharing with you, I noted that my field was off-center towards the left when I meditated. I was a troubled young man with serious emotional hang-ups going back to very early childhood. The off-centeredness was due to my unexpressed and imbalanced emotions. There are no shortcuts to getting our hands dirty and doing the work. Whilst we can help others to fill in the gaps in their auras, if it is out of focus or lopsided, they will have to do the emotional work themselves. Occasionally, the culprit is the third chakra, ego-mind, with rigidly controlled beliefs, and invariably the second chakra will also be affected. Quite often, if either the second or third are compromised, then the fourth chakra will also be affected. Once you have the hang of this, you can practice scanning others. If, when you do so, do not share that you're doing it or the result of your perceptions. That may or may not come much later. You may only observe the state of their bioenergetic field. You may not attempt to change, alter any part of it without the person's permission. Information as to others' fields can be visual, kinesthetic, emotional, or a combination of them. Some people have a vivid color imagination and will see colors around others' bioenergetic fields, to which they ascribe emotions. Occasionally, you may see representational objects of the energetic expression of the individual. None of the above is the truth, merely your interpretation of it. So be careful what you share with others. Exercise for those who are hands-on alternative therapists. Practice extending your kinesthetic, emotional sense to surround your clients as you acknowledge their aura. Information, when it eventually comes, will be spontaneous and unbidden. I occasionally experience intense emotions when I touch parts of a client's body. I remind myself these are not my emotions. I connect with their lower abdomen and I transmit this unexpressed and out of awareness emotion back to them for processing. As you're coming to the end of your session with a client, massage their ears for a few minutes or their feet as you feel your warmth through your hands. As you are massaging and or holding, imagine the lower abdomen. There you will find a little child representation of the client. Imagine kinesthetically sense this little child. What is he/she doing? What is your internal emotional response? Is the child happy, sad, needy, envious, greedy, angry, etc.? Do they need safety, a cuddle, friendship, companionship? Invariably, the child needs to experience safety. Perhaps you need to hold its hand or envelop it in an embrace or even simply be there whilst it plays. Allow yourself to feel compassion, joy, acceptance, and protection for the child within them, especially when you sense the child's emotional imbalance. As you improve, Clients will share how relaxing and peaceful it is for them. In the early days, I would allow emotions to overwhelm me. Clients always felt better, like something had lifted off them. It was a mistake. We only learn through experience. Only once did I encounter a child from a client now long dead, with whom I had an instinctive dislike. Her little girl was so damaged by her own mother's rejection of her that her desperation for love manifested as criticalness, envy, and conceit. Going to sleep. It is night time and you're in bed ready to go to sleep. Focus on the third eye area, i.e., you literally look up inside your forehead. Choose an object, any object, and see it in your mind's eye. Practice letting the object morph into anything else. The aim is to allow the subconscious to turn your static image into a dreamlike video. When you succeed, you will remember little, for you will fall asleep soon after. In the unlikely event that the video being played in your imagination were to go dark, disturbing images, then you are in need of emotional processing. If you wake up in the morning with a nightmare, ask yourself, what was the emotion that woke me up? Relieve as much of the nightmare as you can, as soon as you can, so that you may identify the emotion that needs to be processed. Occasionally, the nightmare may be due to something you may have watched on video or listened to others relating a few days earlier, and were affected by the emotions evoked in you, yet thought nothing of it at the time. Reverie. We have this popular perception of soothsayers, witches, etc., gazing into a white ball as one would into a television channel to gain information. Gazing into a crystal ball is merely the act of reverie, i.e., allowing our imagination to express itself. Find times in your life for reverie. It could be watching a fire, raindrops against the window pane, the running of a brook or river, or even sitting in contemplation by raising your eyes to look into your forehead. Allow the images to come, no judgment, be a passive observer. Please note that most of us carry way too much baggage of suppressed, unprocessed emotions, and the act of reverie will bring them to the surface in an orderly manner, i.e., you will not be subject to more than you can cope with at that moment in your life. The past is a video that is presently being written. The future will be the result of the quadrillion plus interactions that occur every infinitesimal fraction of a second. It is easier to connect to what has been the past than what is yet to be. Explore the past. Find different types of rocks, seashells, and/or objects that have been around for a while. Use them to meditate on. Hold the object in your hands, extend your kinesthetic sense of its shape, weight, structure, and quality, and place it inside your forehead as you allow yourself to reverie into its past. Images, emotions, and sensations may occur. Be open to all. Be a passive observer. You may do the same with all buildings, standing stones, etc. Train psychic perception. Hold jewelry and open letters in your hands and kinesthetically imagine them inside your forehead. What sensations, emotions, memories, or images do they evoke? When someone rings on the phone, focus inside your forehead and allow images to come as to who they are as you speak with them. Open your imagination to their clothes, color, face, hairstyle, what type of house they might live in, what car, color, etc. In conclusion, The above is far more than sufficient to keep you occupied for a considerable amount of time. If there is a calling here for you, you might consider learning the language of astrology, palmistry, or tarot card reading as a vehicle with which to continue developing your psychic muscles. There is no right or wrong way. Shortly, I will focus on writing an article on astral travel as it is linked to the third eye. Goodbye for now, and thank you for listening.